Welcome, Sagittarius and Sagittarius crosswatchers, to your singles and new love reading. So we're going to get where you are, where you're headed, and what you need to know. And then we're going to pick a different deck and find out who the next love interest. Doesn't mean that you want them, okay? It just means the next person that's interested for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. And that'll be timestamped in the description box. So I hope you guys have all had a great week and that your weekend is something you're looking forward to. It actually feels, oh, interesting. So we have the Nine of Cups reversed as where you are, and where you're headed is Temperance, which of course is our card. I am a Sag. With the Ten of Cups there. So Sag, I feel like something fell apart. But what it actually feels like is it's almost like, this might sound strange, to the rest of the world, I feel like you're looking at this like, oh, this fell apart, wah, wah, like, oh, that's so sad. But it actually feels like inside you're kind of rejoicing, practically doing backflips, because it's like the way that something fell apart meant that you didn't have to, I feel like meant that you didn't have to, hold on for a second. You didn't have to tear it down. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like feeling like you have to walk into, may not be the actual situation, right? Oh, I just realized the candles weren't on. I knew there was a light. Sorry. There we go. So it's the energy of feeling like you have to go in and have a really uncomfortable conversation with somebody, and you get there and they've just finished having that conversation with somebody else, right? It's like somebody has already let the cat out of the bag. It's like someone else is the bad guy. You know what it feels like? And this obviously isn't going to be for everybody, right? But it's that energy of like, you have someone that you know that maybe doesn't wear deodorant, and you have to tell them. You have to tell them, right? And so you're not really looking forward to having that conversation, but you go in and somebody already did it. Someone already was like, you know what? Here's some help with this, right? And it doesn't feel like you were going in to be like, ha ha. It was like, it was not a conversation you were looking forward to, right? You didn't want to go in and hurt this person. And it's like you didn't want them to feel like whatever this conversation was, obviously it's not going to be deodorant for everybody, right? It feels like it was something that you knew needed to be done. But it's that energy of like almost not why me, like, oh, poor me. It feels like the energy of somebody who is a little bit fed up with having to be the person that is like brave enough to say what needs to be said to people. And not that you don't want to do it anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, does it always have to be Sag, right? I'm just going to get my clarifier decks up here. So, I don't know how you go from this to this. But Sag, I feel like it's almost like I kind of see you feeling like you're a little bit on top of the world. For some of you, I'm hearing that it's like a little bit before Aries season, like maybe a week or so before Aries season. It's like you're going to start to feel the new astrological cycle begin, if that makes sense. I almost wanted to say it's like you're going to feel like it's a new year practically. And it's not like it's a new year, new me. It's more like it's a new year, smarter, faster, more perceptive you. So I think we're going to get a clarifier on this Temperance here. Can we get, Emperor reversed. This might be specific, okay? Sag, what I'm seeing is I'm actually want to giggle to myself, so I'm going to try to not be a, bit of a brat here. But I feel like somebody tries to come in and like flex their control or their muscle here. It's like somebody wants to come in and act like they're the boss. And I feel like you're here like, no, right? It's like somebody seems to want to come in here and act like they're the shiz, like they're the ones that are in control. And they seem to be almost, it's almost like you don't pay them any mind, right? Like you just don't really even pay much attention to it. And I feel like this person over here, they seem to feel like you would have just done whatever it was that they asked you to do, right? It's almost like they asked you to do something and you're like, no, you know what I mean? And it's not a like, no, F you sort of thing. It feels like it's more like a, no, it's not really what I want to do. And it's almost like this person isn't used to hearing the word no. And so when you say it, bad sentence. When you say it so nonchalantly, there we go. It's almost like there'll be a taken aback, right? It feels like this energy of like, they tell you something, you're like, oh, no, thanks. And they're like, what? You know what I mean? It's like they're just used to people doing what they tell them to do. I'd like to say what they ask them to do, but I feel like this person tells people what to do, but maybe they're, gracious enough to phrase it as a question so everyone can pretend that they're asking people, right? It's that kind of an energy. It doesn't feel like this person is a total heel, okay? I don't feel like they are, from their perspective, okay, they seem to want to direct people in this direction or that direction or whatever, right? And it does feel like from their perspective, they're doing it with everybody's best interests in mind. But I feel like whoever this person is, they haven't proven to you that they deserve to have that kind of say in your life or in whatever capacity that this is, right? It's like if somebody comes in and tells you to rip out this bush and put that tree there, you're kind of like, well, no. It's like, unless you have some knowledge that, they're going to kill the plants around them or something. Otherwise, get off my lawn. Like it's that kind of a thing. It feels like if ever you have been in an apartment building or maybe a townhouse complex or something like that, where there's somebody like you move in and there's somebody that walks around like they're freaking top dog, right? And here comes Sag like, no, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? It's like you're just not going to play their game. And maybe some of you don't see that it at first. I'm not really feeling that very strongly, but it's like, even if you do see it, you're not playing to anybody's game. It's like, you're not going to dance to their tune just to fit in. I keep wanting to giggle like, no, like I keep just wanting to do that. I don't know what you're up to over here, Sag, but I really wish that I could be a fly on the wall because what's really interesting is I don't feel that you do it in a crappy way, right? It's not like you're laughing in this person's face or anything. That may be the internal sort of thing, but I feel like with this person, because you are kind of like, you know what? No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait to see, like where the sun is in the garden and whatever, and like what's full sun, what's part sun, so on and so forth. I mean, of course, that's not going to be for everybody, right? But the general energy is the same. And I feel like this person seems to look at you as an equal. Oh, I almost said Sag if you're single and then realized I was doing a singles read. You can tell that I need more coffee. I apologize. I feel like if this person is single, they're going to see you as an opportunity, kind of to get into a relationship. Not an opportunity like they're an opportunist sort of thing, but more as like, it's almost refreshing to this person that somebody has the nerve to say no or be like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like to a certain extent, them feeling like they have to be the boss all the time, they have to direct everybody all the time, I feel like it had become a burden. And so it's like the fact that there's somebody here that can think for themselves, they're kind of like, oh, thank God. And I feel like it doesn't feel like this person's going to come rushing towards you, or even that they're going to be letting you know that they're kind of are starting to think about you that way. I want to be real clear, Sag. It's not like, you're going to meet somebody and the two of you are going to be a full-fledged couple in a week. Okay. I feel like this person is somebody that moves real slow, and not painstakingly, you're sitting around waiting slow. I feel like it's somebody that, I mean, now you might, but before you, it's like the way that they kind of look into the person that they're kind of interested in. It's almost like I don't want to even say interested in, because I feel like it's almost like this person evaluates whether or not somebody would be a good partner before they even allow themselves to get into that kind of romantic space. I feel like this isn't somebody that is looking for a partner that looks a certain type of way or wears a certain type, like clothes, like that kind of materialistic. And I'm not saying, being materialistic and wanting to wear nice clothes is a bad thing. Okay. It just feels like that doesn't factor into this person's decision. They really couldn't care less. What they're looking for is somebody like them. And the fact that you are strong enough to stand up to them. And it also feels that it's like, not only are you strong enough to stand up to them, but the fact that you kind of want, again, going back to that garden, it's like the fact that you want to decide how you're going to do things without kind of needing everybody, like somebody else's input or someone else's guidance. I feel like they really admire that about you. So it does feel like this person is kind of looking into you as a potential partner. But it feels like it's one of those things that it takes so dang long that it's almost like you kind of even forget that it would be a possibility. I feel like this is the kind of person that it's like if their life is otherwise in a bit of a transition stage, let's say, it's like if they feel like they're not stable financially, or they feel like they have kind of like if they've been recently separated or divorced and they're still trying to kind of work those legal details out, it's like they're not going to be investigating anybody or anything very much until that kind of stuff has been squared away, right? It's like they're not going to kind of torture themselves, look into somebody, and then feel like they can't do anything about it. So there is somebody here, okay, obviously, but how that's going to move forward, I think you're going to know that this person kind of is keeping an eye on you. It's like they might steal glances at you. But I feel like you're wise enough to know that, like, if this person wants you, they're going to come get you. You know what I mean? They're going to come talk to you. They're going to this, they're going to that. So I feel like you just kind of focus on your thing, but you're going to feel their energy. You're going to know that they're keeping an eye on things. I do want to say, this might sound strange. It's almost like because this person feels that the two of you have kind of a special bond, I almost want to say that, like, they might even feel a little bit hurt if they feel like you're showing romantic interest in someone else, if that makes sense. So, what does Sag need to know? What does Sag need to know? What does Sag need to know about the month of March 2023? So we got the Six of Cups. Hold on for a second. So, Sag, what I'm actually feeling is you're going to be in this really almost like dreamy, reminiscing sort of energy. It's like this Emperor actually feels like they might be almost like an afterthought to everything else that's going on. What I'm actually really picking up from this is that you're going to be feeling really grateful. And it's not even because you have this or that or whatever, right? I mean, any human that you meet is always in some form of working towards a goal, right? We're always kind of striving for not the next best thing and that sort of negative connotation that comes with that, but we're always working towards something. And it just feels like it feels really fulfilling. It's that energy of feeling like you have it all. And it's almost the energy of somebody that could be sitting in an empty, dark room and still feel that way. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it doesn't feel like it's an experience that's related to another person. I also am feeling, Sag, that there's, for those of you that um, are in that kind of reminiscing energy, I feel like you might kind of go back and think about um, some of your exes, and not that you want to go back to them or anything like that, okay? It just feels like the ones that treated you really well, that were really sweet, it just feels like you kind of are, it's almost like you're touching base with that energy, if that makes sense. It's like because you're feeling this really fulfilled, excuse me, um, really just kind of like peaceful, content, and genuinely just kind of happy, right? It feels like you're not expecting anything. You're not, it's like you're in that stage of like putting work into your goals so you can get to where you want to go, but you're not racing to get there. And so I feel like some of the past relationships that you've been in that made you feel that way, maybe they didn't in the end, right? Maybe they didn't the whole time, but the moments within those relationships that made you feel that way, it's almost like you seem to be reminded of those moments when you felt really loved. And it's like, I'm seeing some of you kind of falling asleep to not daydreaming about somebody, but just feeling that feeling of being loved. It doesn't feel like it's outside. It feels like it's almost like, this might sound strange, okay, but for those of you that sleep alone, it'll feel like you're the little spoon. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of like a, I don't mean to sound, cliche, but it almost feels like you're kind of being cradled, but not in the way that you're a baby, just like feeling really complete. So we are going to look at the next person for Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'm just looking at which deck to use. Yeah, okay. This is the deck I thought we were, okay, well, Saggy Sun, we have the Seven of Wands here. So here's the thing. With this one, I actually feel like it's somebody that's a little bit cocky. I feel like it's someone that is, they seem to get a lot of attention, and I feel like it's somebody that kind of wants you to kind of beat back the competition to win them. They do seem to want you, okay, specifically. But I feel like there are a lot of people that are kind of vying for this person's attention, but it's almost like they kind of want you to beat out the competition. I'm trying to figure out like, but why though, right? I feel like this person might struggle with some self-worth issues, and it's almost like they seem to feel, okay, that they need to know that somebody really wants them. They need to know somebody's going to fight for them. It's almost like that seems to be what makes them feel the most love. It's like this is the kind of person that, let's say the two of you are together and like, in a, committed relationship, committed monogamous, okay, just for the sake of how I'm going to explain this. And people are hitting on them at the bar, restaurant, party, whatever. It's like this is the kind of person that would get validation out of you being jealous, if that makes sense. So I think we're going to get a clear. I think this deck is upside down. Yes, it is. Sorry. Can we get a clarifier on this Seven of Wands? What do we want? How will Sag know it's them? How will you know it's them? We got Temperance and the Page of Wands. It says daughter, but it's the page. I think you're actually going to be really intrigued by this person. It's almost the energy of like, I'm not sure what your, if you had a type or if you had a, certain characteristics that you were looking for, but it's this energy of, I feel like you want someone who's interesting. It's kind of like, I am feeling, okay, maybe not everybody, whatever. I just really feel like you're, in the same way that you're not dancing to this Emperor reversed their tune, you're not going to be dancing to this one's either. Right? It's like, and it's not even about whether or not you want this person or you don't want them. I feel like it's more about, it's almost like this person's going to kind of have to, not that you want them to chase you, but you're also not going to be, you know, just going to be the pick of the litter, if that makes sense, right? It's not like, you know, you're just going to stand there and compete and feel like you're not really know if you're going to be chosen, right? It's like you're not going to be throwing your hat in the ring. You're not going to get into that kind of competition with other people. I do feel for some of you, Sag, maybe not all of you, that you may have a bit of a razor sharp tongue with this one. And I feel like if that happens, because they have so little self-worth, I feel like they'll be hurt so deeply that they'll just turn off the feelings for you. So if you want this person, and I know sometimes we have a tendency to just be blunt. We really do. It's not with the intent to hurt anybody, right? It's just kind of the way we think. I feel like being blunt is one thing, but it does feel like some of that needs to be softened with this person. I do kind of feel like that quality about them to you kind of makes them seem a little bit weak, if I'm being honest. Doesn't mean that they are, okay? It just seems like that's your initial impression of them, because it's almost like if this person needs all these people climbing after them, I feel like you actually kind of see that as a weakness too. Right? It's like this person looking for validation and emotional fulfillment outside themselves. I feel like that's kind of a deal breaker for you. Maybe you'll be friends with this person, but I'm not really seeing that it's someone that feels like to you. And I want to be clear, Sag, I'm not telling you to think this, okay? This is what I'm seeing kind of ends up happening here. It's actually that you kind of see this person as not strong enough to be with you. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you want someone that is, not that you're looking to argue all the time, okay? But I feel like you want someone that is, that has a strong opinion, that isn't afraid to say it, that isn't afraid to go against the grain. And I feel like because you see this person as kind of wanting something from someone else to feel like they're whole, it just feels like it's not really, it doesn't really do it for you. Maybe you're attracted to this person, maybe all of those sorts of things, but it's like until they get rid of that, I feel like you're not really going to be too interested. It does feel like this ends up being a connection where you kind of help them start to see things. And let me explain that a little bit. It's almost like you seem to help them start to see the games that people play on them when it comes to a romantic sense, right? So it's that energy of like, maybe this person didn't have a strong, let's say, for example, they didn't have a strong male role model or female role model, and they're dating, let's say, okay, for the sake of argument, excuse me, we're going to say this person, I'm just going with the genders on the cards today, okay, but that doesn't mean that's actually the gender that it's representing in the read. However, let's say, for example, this person is attracted to females, but they didn't really have an example of a good female in their life. And in that, they also didn't really have someone to teach them the ins and outs of dating and what mind games look like and how people can kind of run those games, you know, what people's true intentions are. And I feel like you seem to really help this person in that regard. And I feel like it's your, it's your bluntness in that regard that it's like maybe this person doesn't always want to hear what you have to say. But I feel like when they want the truth, you're the first person they come to. Excuse me. So for those of you with your moon in Sagittarius, wow. So we have the moon at the bottom of the deck, and the Fool and the World came out together. So, I mean, something, obviously you are closing out some sort of cycle and something new is beginning. I'm just kind of feeling like it feels like there's somebody here that is like, I hate to say it like this. I feel like they have a really bad reputation, and not as a player, more as kind of like a little bit too eccentric, a little bit out there, a little bit this, a little bit that, right? And it's like, you are a Sag, right? So it's not like you're going to be sitting here judging them or feeling like, oh, you can't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. That's what I was trying to say. But I am kind of feeling here that this person, they feel like a bit of a fraud. It's almost like this person may come in, maybe they'll shoot their shot, but they feel like they have no chance with you at all. I feel like this person is somebody that, you know what kind of is a shame here? I actually feel like this person is somebody that does have a lot to offer, but it's like because they have this, you know, whatever, it's almost like because they have either this kind of like imposter syndrome or what is it? I feel like they use this kind of dopey energy that they present with as a defense mechanism. So it's like, unless people, it's almost like they have this persona that only people who are kind would accept. And it's like, and then when you get in deeper, it's like there's this, it's like this is what they present to the world, right? But that's who they actually are, right? It's almost kind of like this magnificent creature that seems to have this inner happiness, this inner light, but they're really actually quite wise. And I feel like that's why they come across as a little bit foolish. It's almost like if ever you have seen Vikings, not the like brutality part, but the eccentric part of Floki. It's that kind of an energy, right? I feel like this person pretends that they don't see people saying things about them, and you know, like if people talk about this person a lot or make fun of them or whatever, it's like this person pretends that they don't hear it or that it's meant a different way. And I feel like they're doing it to weed people out. And what I really love about your energy here is if someone's like, oh, that hat's really stupid. I feel like your comment to that would be like, well, it's not about whether or not they think it's stupid. Do you like it? Is it comfortable? Do you want to wear it? Well, then do whatever you want, right? Like you seem to have a way of talking to this person that it's almost like they didn't need you to tell them that because they're not really this kind of like, I don't know how to say this in a not crappy way. So I'm not trying to be crappy to this person. Okay. But it's like, they don't actually feel that they need anybody to tell them that. But the fact that you do, it's like, it's different, right? It's not like you're going to sit there and tell them that the hat's great because you've made it not about that, right? It's like you seem to have a way to make people feel that what they're doing is okay, regardless of what anybody else thinks. And I feel like it's either the first time or there's only ever been one other person that's kind of put things into perspective that way. And if it is that case, if they've only ever met one other person, it's almost like you doing that is a bit of a sign to them. I do feel because they have this kind of wise energy about them, they're not going to come rushing in and like, oh, you're my forever, you're my love, they're not going to do that. This person, it's actually like, I feel like number one, that's not really their style. And number two, it almost feels to them that like talking to you that way would be disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's like, number one, they wouldn't do that anyway. But number two, I feel like they know that you would see that it's like, you're not going to buy that, right? And I feel like this person may hold back only because they don't know how to approach you. And it's not that you're unapproachable or you're whatever, right? Or you're isolating yourself. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but that's not what the thing is with them. It almost feels like you seem to be this, it's like when they start to think they know what to expect when they talk to you, they kind of start to feel like, okay, well, if I say this, then I think Sag will probably say this. And it's like you keep constantly surprising them. And it's almost like it's like you're this well of like the best, cleanest, coldest water ever. And it's like, and they can't they can't help but keep coming back to like kind of drink from that well, if you will. And it seems to them that it's like they found this gold mine that nobody else knows about. And it almost feels like it's like this, like, really valuable, how do I say this? It's like this gorgeous secret that they would never dare to share with anyone else. And it's not because, they want to keep you isolated or whatever. It's more because, number one, I feel like that would tell people that this person sees more than they want to let on, right? So they wouldn't be seen as this fool anymore. Excuse me. And number two, it almost feels like if they did that, they would rob other people of the experience of getting to see that on their own. So I think we're gonna pull a card. King of Swords. There seems to be somebody in this person's life that actually, it feels like they paralyzed this person. You know what I mean? It's like this person could be kind of bouncing around, doing their thing, living their life. And it's like, and then here comes this King of Swords. And I feel like this person, it's like they just become a statue. They just freeze. It feels like they fall into this dynamic between the two of them, that this person, it's like they want to be unnoticed by this King of Swords. It's almost the energy of somebody that has been, it's like this person's a prison guard and this person's been in a cell and this one has been taken way too many liberties with their power, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like this person's normally jovial, kind of a little bit silly energy. It's like you'll see this King of Swords come and this person immediately takes the hat off, it's like their whole demeanor changes. And I feel like when you see that happen, you don't see it as a weakness with this person or anything like that. It's almost like it feels like that makes you want to get to know this person better. Not that you want to talk to them and actually like be in a connection with them. It just feels like it puts this person on your radar in terms of wanting to see almost kind of like where they're going, what people are like when this person goes up to someone's house, and then what people are like when this person leaves somebody's house. It's like you're trying to figure out what's going on without letting anybody know that you're even paying attention to it. So is there anything Sag needs to be aware of with this King of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Interesting. Just give me a second here. So what I'm kind of getting, I feel like maybe I've been made out to be a bit of a liar. Thanks, Darrow. I feel like it's almost like, obviously won't be the actual situation for most of you. I feel like this King of Swords may have come into this Fool's life in a capacity where it's almost like it's a failed relationship. And this King of Swords just keeps coming back, thinking that they're going to get back in with this Fool. It's like because they underestimated this person. And it's like, and then they found out, it's the energy of somebody that like, they underestimated the Fool. They turn their back on the Fool. And then they turn around and realize that actually the Fool has a lot to offer. And so it's like they're trying to come back in. They're trying to do this and do that, but they're not really. It's like it's nobody that the Fool wants to be with. I feel like you may pick up on something between these two. And I feel like I want to encourage you to not judge the connection between the two of them too quickly, because I feel like if you give yourself a little bit more time to observe the connection between the two of these, you're going to see really quickly that this Fool is not at all interested in this King of Swords. So for those of you with a Sagittarius rising, wow, we have Judgment. Sag, I feel like you haven't met this person. I know this was intended to be like the next love interest or whatever, but it actually feels like this card for you guys is it's almost like I'm getting that like counterpart vibe from this one. And I actually feel like both of you may be in an energy where you're not really interested in actually building a counterpart type of relationship with another person. You know what I mean? It's like you're over here feeling really good with this really contented energy, the cards we're talking about before. And I feel like this person seems to be it's almost like they seem to be driven forward at orchestrating something, at pulling something together, putting all the pieces together. And it's almost like they don't really even know why they're doing all of these things. They just know that they have to do them. It's almost like there's this visceral reaction. And by visceral, it's like there's almost like this automatic drive. It's like it's unquestioning, or sorry, there's nothing in them that questions what they're doing. It just feels like they're doing it because they need to. It's almost the energy of somebody that's been parched for hours and they finally get somewhere where they can go get a glass of water, and it's like they're going to blow past everybody until they get to that sink and pour themselves a glass of water. It's that kind of an energy. It feels like they're just so laser focused on what they're doing, and I feel like even they may not really understand why. And it does feel like it's because this person's trying to prepare for you, for the connection with you. I feel like if you were to come along before they've built it, they're not going to pay any attention to you. Because as much as this person may want love, you know, just like the next person, they're not doing anything with any of that until they've built what they feel they need to. And I feel like they may not really even be looking up from what they're doing until they feel they've built enough. It's like until they have either enough kind of stored away or they've had enough momentum kind of built in what they're doing. Get a clarifier for Judgment. We're going to pull those. So I guess it would have been like this. 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups, and 2 of Cups. Okay, so I just want to give this person a hug because I feel like part of the reason that they are kind of being so driven in building their pentacles sort of thing, they seem to feel like they've missed the boat when it comes to romance. I feel like they might be in an energy where they feel like they've missed a boat. They're just going to be lonely. Fine. It's like there's something in the back of their mind that I feel like, again, it'll be this just kind of like when they know, they'll know. But for right now, it's almost like it's the energy of somebody that has accepted that they're just going to be lonely permanently. And they're like, well, if I'm going to be lonely, fine. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be hurting for money if in addition to being lonely. Right. So it's like they feel like if they can't have love in their life, they are going to build something. They're going to put that energy somewhere. And I feel like what's really interesting is all of these things that they're doing to kind of fill their life or replace, not replace love. That's the wrong word. It's like whatever they're building as a, consolation prize to not finding love in their life is the exact thing that's going to bring the two of you together and kind of put this person in a place where they're as confident as you are right now, or that as you're kind of moving into March. I mean, it is already March, isn't it? Hello. Sorry. So lost my train of thought. Okay, we're back. Sorry. So I feel like in this person trying to safeguard themselves against loneliness by just having a lot going on, it's almost like they kind of build themselves up enough to the point that when you come along, or when the two of you kind of, your paths collide, I want to say, not so much that they cross, I feel like they collide. I feel like you're going to see something in this person. It's like there's something about their eyes. I feel like they might have curly hair. Something about that. It's like you're going to see them and you're going to be like, that's them. There's something about an energetic exchange or an energetic connection. It's almost like I can see them. You're sitting here and I see them walk in through these glass doors, and they go up and they check in at the counter, and you're looking at them. You're like, no way. Not that you are recognizing them in the 3D, but it's like there's something about them that is, it's like you keep kind of seeing them around. You know what I mean? Hold on for a second. Hold on. I do want to say, I'm going to be honest, Sag. Before this person gets to you, even from when you're seeing this or when this is posted, I feel like this person's going to have I feel like they are going to be dating people. It's almost like they're kind of like Goldilocks. This bowl is too hot. This bowl is too cold. This bowl is just right. Right. So I feel like they kind of go through, it's like they might go out. I feel like they're the kind of person that it doesn't take them long to decide if they don't want somebody. So it's like they might have a few dates with someone and be like, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out. And I feel like they actually kind of just start to fade away from people and redirect that energy into work. And I feel like there's something about you that seems as driven as them. And it's almost like they seem to be able to see you easier as a business partner at first than they do a romantic partner. It's almost this energy of like the two of you might work together for a long time. And you might kind of feel the energy coming off of them. But it's like, but it takes them forever for them to lean into that because they've been in this energy for so long. So for those of you with your Venus in Sagittarius, so we have the Hierophant. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the Sun at the bottom of the deck. Okay. This might be really specific. I feel like the next person that's interested in you expects like complete and total loyalty and devotion. And it's like, and all they have to give you in return is their presence. I feel like this person is, it's almost the energy of somebody that either is, very traditionally attractive, right? So like really, I don't know, everybody's attracted to different things. So I feel like quantifying that would be, but like really maybe very built and well-dressed for a man and very, I don't know, slender for a woman. I don't know what people like nowadays. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sag, I feel like this person is somebody that thinks that everyone's just going to kind of want them. For example, let's say this person has money. That's probably easier to describe the energy. They seem to feel that because they have money, why would you not want them? It's almost like they would be surprised that you aren't kind of, wanting to ride their coattails. And I feel like it's almost going back to that energy of like, I don't think so. And from, if you didn't listen to the kind of general read for singles, you may want to go back and listen to that. Because I feel like I'm going to be honest. I feel like this person sees themselves as a bit of a guru, right? It's that energy of somebody that like anyone who has to tell you that they're a guru or tell you that they're super spiritual, are they? Right? It's like if people are something, they just are. They don't have to tell other people that because they know they are. It's just in them, right? But I feel like this is the kind of person that wants everybody to know that there's something. It's like maybe they got accolades for that when they were young or they were younger, let's say, because of course everyone's on a different timeline, right? But whatever it is, I feel like they at one point received a lot of attention and, proverbial pats on the back for something, or it's like maybe in school they were really popular, or not popular, but they were popular with people, or a lot of people wanted to date them because they had a lot of money and they were really generous or something like that, right? But it's like, I feel like you have zero attraction to this person at all. It's like, I feel bad for this person, but I feel like they're kind of the antithesis of what you're looking for, right? It's just like, oh, no. You know what I mean? It's like if someone came over and was like, oh, hey, Saggy, the Hierophant really wants to talk to you. I feel like, who, that one? That Hierophant? Oh, God, nope. And it's like, let's say, for example, you're all in a cafeteria and this person's woman person comes over and is like, hey, the Hierophant wants to talk to you. And you're like, who's the Hierophant? And they're like, oh, that person over there. And you're like, I gotta go. Like, it's not at all what you're looking for. It seems like there's someone that chases external validation. A little bit like this Sagittarius Sun person over here. And I feel like to you, it's like this one does it over here because of self-worth issues. But this one here, they do it because they're a bit pompous. And it's like, I don't really feel like, you're terribly interested in dating either of them. But if you had to choose, you'd rather spend time with this one than with this one. Can we get a clarifier on this Hierophant? the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So we got the King of Wands here. Okay, so I feel like your initial feeling about this person of not wanting to be involved with them, stick with that, okay? Because what I'm seeing is that this Father of Wands, this King of Wands, is actually somebody that's when I say related, I don't mean like actually related, right? It's just they're in this person's energy, and I feel like this Father or King of Wands, it doesn't mean it's any specific gender, but they feel like they are, like their energy is creeping me out. It's making my skin crawl, if I'm being totally honest. I feel like there's somebody that will, it's almost like when this, we'll call it the snake, when this snake feels like they don't like that somebody is doing something to this one or taking advantage of them, it's like this snake comes in and they're the cleanup crew, right? I feel like this is somebody that is, it's like, it's the Hierophant's attack dog, if you catch my drift. And I feel like this Hierophant likes to act like they're this pious individual that's so great and so this and so that. But the only reason they can act that way is because they have this other person behind the scenes that does their dirty work for them. So the fact that you don't want anything to do with this person or this pair, really, lean into that. And again, I'm not telling you what to do, right? I hate it when people tell me what to do. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but your initial, like you not wanting to be around this person, it's going to save you in more ways than one, right? Because whoever this one is, it's almost like this one will come in and act like they're just, you know, the nicest, most generous, you know, best thing since baked bread. And then this one will come along and be like, and if you tell anybody otherwise, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the dark side of this person, but this person knows that it's there. They know this person is there. They know it's doing that. That's why they wander around acting like, you know, they do. I was hearing like, that's why they act like kind of with this holier than thou thing. So I think I'll leave it there, Sagittarius. If you've made it to the end of the read, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I will, of course, have the mini weekly loves coming out this Sunday, and then next week will be kind of a different read for the Thursdays. If you'd like a private reading with me, those will be opening up pretty soon. So please shoot me an email and I can put you on the wait list, and then I'll reach out to everybody on the wait list when they open up. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.